The first thing he heard was a childlike singing coming through dead radio noise. And the second thing he saw was blood floating from his own mouth in slow red beads. Because his shuttle had been torn open by debris, and the vacuum had kissed him without mercy. And yet the signal kept calling, soft and wrong, as if space itself was trying to lure him to the last place a rejected man should go. He was named Cale Marr, once a human engineer in the Outer Fleet, and a disgrace, then a ghost with no rank and no home. The kind of man people spoke about in warnings, not in prayers. The burn marks on his arms were old, but the shame was fresh. 2 years earlier, he had tried to stop a reactor breach on a colony carrier. He had stayed behind to seal a failing core while officers ran. The carrier still exploded. Hundreds died. The court needed a monster to blame, and the easiest monster was the man who survived with soot on his face and guilt in his eyes. They called him reckless. They called him unstable. They said he disobeyed orders. They never said the truth out loud, that the orders were cowardly and the leaders had fled too soon. Cale lost everything in 1 week. His uniform, his name, his right to speak. His friends looked away like he carried a sickness. His family sent one message, short and cold, telling him not to contact them again. So he drifted where laws faded, taking scrap jobs from smugglers, fixing broken machines for people who did not ask questions, sleeping in cramped compartments where the air tasted like metal and loneliness. He told himself he deserved it. He told himself he was safer alone, because anyone who got close would die. That was his curse, or at least that was what the universe kept teaching him. Now his shuttle spun helplessly near a dead star, its light like an old bruise on the darkness, and the distress signal pulsed again, singing through static and something inside Cale. Some stubborn thread that refused to snap made him follow it even though he had no fuel to waste and no reason to hope. He found the source drifting behind a curtain of black ice. A massive alien ship, sleek and beautiful, even in ruin, but cracked along its spine like a broken rib, leaking blue light that flickered as if the ship was breathing its last breaths. Cale should have turned away. Humans and aliens in this sector did not meet with open hands. There were treaties on paper and hatred in the stars. Humans said aliens were predators. Aliens said humans were plague. In the outer zones, both sides hunted without uniforms. Cale had seen the results. Ghost ships, melted hulls, bodies frozen in prayer positions. Still, the ship's signal was weak, desperate, and Cale knew that desperation well. He latched his shuttle to the alien hull and forced an airlock with a welding torch and shaking hands. And as he crawled inside, the corridor lights stuttered to life like startled eyes. The air was thin and sweet, not made for him, and it burned his lungs. But he moved forward anyway, because if he died here at least it would mean something. He did not get far. A defense drone unfolded from the ceiling like a metal insect, and before he could raise his hands, it fired a pulse that slammed into his chest, stopping his heart for one horrifying second, and Cale fell hard, tasting iron and hearing the world fade into a low, ringing hum. When he woke, he was chained to the floor in a bright room, his wrists raw, his head pounding, and figures stood around him, wearing armor that looked grown rather than forged. Their faces were not monsters, but they were not human either, with smooth skin like polished stone, long ears that twitched at sound, and eyes that reflected light like deep water. Their weapons were aimed at his throat. They spoke in harsh clicks, one word repeated more than the rest, like a curse being thrown at him. Human, human, human. Then the soldiers stepped aside, and 2 alien women entered together, moving so perfectly in sync that Cale's mind called them twins before his eyes even confirmed it. They were taller than him. Their hair was pale and braided in long ropes. Their eyes were the same blue as the dying ship core. One had a cut across her cheek. The other's arm was wrapped in a dark cloth soaked with something that looked like silver blood. They were injured, exhausted, and still they carried a quiet strength that made the soldiers lower their voices. The twins studied Cale like he was a strange tool found in wreckage. The one with the cut asked a question in broken human words, slow and careful, as if each syllable hurt. "Why you come?" Cale swallowed, his throat dry, and he wanted to say the truth, that he did not know. That maybe he came because he was tired of being a man who only ran from ruins, but he said the simple thing instead. "I heard your signal." The soldiers hissed. One stepped forward and struck him across the mouth. "Liar!" the translator unit crackled, struggling with alien tones. "Thief, hunter, curse." Cale's vision blurred. He expected the twins to approve. He had learned that leaders always approved of cruelty when it was aimed at the weak. But the twins did not smile. The twin with the wounded arm raised her hand, and the soldier froze as if caught by invisible chains. Her voice was soft but heavy. "Enough." Then she looked back at Cale. "You fix machines," she said, not as a question but as a memory, as if she already knew. Cale laughed, a short, broken sound. "I used to," he said. "Now I just break things." The twin with the cut did not look away from his bruised face. "Our ship dying," she said. "Our people gone." She hesitated like the next words were a blade. "We need human hands." The soldiers protested at once. Their fear spilled out. The translator caught pieces. Humans cannot be trusted. Humans betray. Humans poison systems. Humans bring hunters. Cale listened and felt a bitter calm settle in him. Because he had heard the same story in human halls. Only the word alien replaced the word human. He realized hatred was lazy, the same shape on every tongue. He tried to stand, but the chain jerked him back. "If you want me dead," he said, "do it now. I'm tired." The twin with the wounded arm stepped closer. Her gaze did not have hatred in it. It had something worse. It had grief. "We do not want death," she said. "We want life." Cale felt a strange sting behind his eyes. No one had said they wanted to live with him in a long time. They left him chained, but gave him water. Later, when the ship shuddered and the lights failed again, the twins returned alone. The corridor outside echoed with distant alarms. The twin with the cut held a small device that projected star maps. She showed him their route, how they had been fleeing across systems, pursued by a hunter fleet of another alien race known for taking prisoners, stripping ships, selling survivors. The twins' own leaders had promised rescue. Instead, those leaders had stolen the last functional escape craft and abandoned the ship with its civilians and guards. The twins were not rulers, Cale realized. They were survivors of a royal bloodline, left behind so the traitors could claim the throne without them. That was why the soldiers obeyed them, even in despair. Cale understood betrayal too well. His chest tightened. He had been left behind by his own people, not for politics, but for convenience. The twin with the wounded arm opened his chain. "We risk," she said. "If you lie, we die." Cale rubbed his wrists, feeling the ache. "You already think I'm a curse," he said. "So what's the difference?"